Uh,
Hi.
Microphone check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 and 3. This is the Blaze the Lion podcast. I am your host, Blaze. Blaze the Lion. Blaze the guy you talk about. Blaze the guy you judge. Blaze the man on a mission. Blaze the machine. And lots of other things. Thank you all for tuning in right here to the Blaze the Lion podcast. Huh. We are live right now on YouTube. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a damn friend about the Blaze Line podcast. Indeed. If you're loving the mission, loving the movement, and you would like to support, you can support. You can see me on the street. Give me a high five with some cash in your hand. That works. You can also go to anchor.fm/blazethelines/support. All right, for as little as 99 cents per month, you can be a monthly contributor. Second tier is $4.99, and third tier is $9.99. I would give my Cash App, but that's just actually it's not tacky. Cash App is $Blaze-a-Line. All right, as you know. So, man on a mission. What is my mission? My mission is to impact lives, to change this world. And it sounds cliche, but it's true. It's what I research. It's why I research. It's why I stay up late editing the audio and the video for these podcasts. It's why I turn down jobs, because I'm for the people. So I do this truly for you all. Even though I do love the camera and I don't mind smiling for the camera, I do this because I'm a man with vision. So, with all that said, this is October, the first episode, episode 42. First episode in October. And for this month's theme is doctors. So, every episode, we will have a doctor. All right, sharing their experience, sharing their expertise, dropping gems, because you know we're all about gems, and just providing you their perspective on health. All right, I'll be ready to take notes myself. I listen back to these replays on every single episode, so I am very excited specifically for this month's theme. So, with that said, tonight's guest. So I usually give an awkward pause.
I'm listen, I'm here. Take the lead. But Dr. Carolina Zakes. I am the head physician at Ova Health and Fertility. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you so much for inviting me and, starting off this series. It's really an honor. And like you said, there's so much that we want to share, changing lives, impacting lives. I'm in the business of helping create lives. So definitely a lot of it more than just the science, more than medicine. And I'm happy to be here to discuss those things with you today. So thank you.
Awesome. Yes. We are very, very excited to have you. You will notice that there is a chat. There is a live chat. So while we are live, my wonderful audience will be chiming in, making comments, cracking jokes, asking questions, all that fun stuff. So just keeping you aware of that. So how did you get started? What brought on? Did you fall into medicine? Was it always a passion, always a dream? Oh, you gotta love live, right?
We're here.
There you go.
Not sure what happened, but we're here. We're here.
Good. All right. So, how did you get started in the medical field? Was this always a dream? Was this always a passion of yours? Did it just happen?
Well, I am a Mexican and Cuban, and on my side, my mom's side, I am a sixth generation physician. So I know, big shoes to fill. So, growing up, I grew up around medicine. My mom's a surgeon. So I very much knew that that's, what I wanted to do. And honestly, like we said, sometimes, it sounds a little cheesy, but it's always been healing. It's in my family. It's what we do. So obviously I'm the first generation to be in America. And, I went to college, I went to Oral Roberts, to my biochemistry undergrad. And as I started to prep for medical school, took my MCAT, everything, I started to look at the curriculum, and I felt for what I wanted to do, always fertility, it didn't feel like healing. It felt like medicating at best. And it just wasn't what I wanted to do. In undergrad, I learned immunology, genetics, epigenetics, just developmental biology. And it just seemed like there was something that was missing that we just weren't addressing. So my mom, even though she's a surgeon, she always did acupuncture, herbal medicine, all these different things. In Mexico, we do a lot of herbal medicine, hence a major portion of my practice, which is a Mayan and Aztec medicine portion. So came home, took a little breather. And when I was down here at the Acupuncture and Massage College, I took some courses to see it. And when I started learning about Eastern medicine and the way that it is approached, the difference, the root of the imbalance versus the symptom, it clicked. It clicked for me. And I took a giant leap of faith. And I said, I'm not going to go down the MD route. I'm going to be a doctor of Oriental medicine. My mom freaked a little bit. She was like thinking trauma surgeon dynasty. And I was like, no, deviate a little. But it led me down this path. And, I've fertility, all of that has always stuck. But I've been able to create something that didn't exist in Broward County, at least, and in my area. And hopefully soon to be spreading. Talk about that later. But we've created something that is option, that gives an alternative to something that most patients can't do, can't afford, their bodies can't take. And it's been a wild ride, but it definitely is. It's everything. It's our mission, the purpose, what we do. So
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. All right. So I love the herbs. All right.
Yes.
Herbs are healing. Herbs have helped to change my life. I use herbs just about every day, from teas to in my food that I cook with. So I guess my question would be, how often do you use herbs in your practice?
Well, in my practice, daily. So when we talk about Oriental medicine, because that's something I'd like to touch on a little bit. Acupuncturist, doctor of Oriental medicine. Acupuncture is a portion of what Oriental medicine is, which is herbal medicine, cupping. A lot of people have seen cupping, gua sha, a lot of different modalities. So all that, but at OVA, we use a lot of acupuncture, but the herbal medicine. So for example, for our patients that want to conceive, we use herbal medicine. Every week we change formulas. They're custom formulas that are made specifically for the purpose. You and I had talked that just because you're healthy in a season of life doesn't mean that healthy is going to translate to the next season. So a lot of my patients that want to conceive, that are having issues with their hormone, that aren't ovulating, that have PCOS, we're trying to correct an issue. So what they've been doing up to now that may be healthy isn't always going to be the same thing we're going to keep doing. So with herbal medicine, we're able to create a framework. It differs a lot in, for example, your medication for your blood pressure, and that herbal medicine is supposed to be a framework, a scaffold to help your body find that balance, find that rhythm naturally again. So in my practice, all my patients are going to be on a formula for about 2 to 3 months to help rectify whatever's going on. Now, a big portion that people are very curious about is now the pelvic steaming. yoni steams, herbal steams. I know a lot of, yoni steam is usually what people know it as.
Mhm.
In my practice, they're called bajos. I am Mexican. So this is a practice that has been done throughout my family. Women do it regularly. In fact, the blends that I created are actually passed down through my grandmother, through everyone. So in a way, we're getting that it's not that it's my blends. This is something that it's not just Mexican. Women from Russia, from Jamaica, from Colombia, all these different women, they come in, and when they see it, they're like, oh, I've heard about that. Back home in Haiti after birth, you have all these different days that you do the steams to help tonify the uterus. And I know we talked a big portion of my practice and what I do to educate is reconnect as a first generation Mexican, Cuban American. A lot of it got lost. I don't know. My grandma is no longer here. I don't know, but we still have that. And for a lot of women, having that connection, reclaiming that power, that cultural power through herbal medicine is major. A lot of our grandmothers, a lot of our moms have been told, it's just a tea, it's whatever. But I think that right now, the climate that we're in medicine, listen, the Nobel Peace, the Nobel Prize was just given to a scientist that used Chinese herbs to cure malaria.
Mhm.
So science medicine is changing the way we're going. So I think that from a cultural standpoint, from a scientific standpoint, taking my abuela's blends and demystifying that, which whatever you want to call it, and finding that scientific basis, bringing back, and that is reclaiming power in so many ways. I there's a time and place for medicine. Yes, antibiotics, I've taken them all, but there is something to be said about finding our way back to basics. And herbal medicine, whether it's you're doing it in a pelvic steam, whether you're taking the capsules, whether you're incorporating teas into your children's, issues, it is reclaiming that power, not just culturally, spiritually, but medically, bringing it back to basics. And I think that's something that a lot of us need to know more of, especially parents, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny sometimes when I'll talk to people and um, I will tell them about certain herbs, and they go, "Oh, so where do you buy your teas and stuff like that? What brand do you use?" And I say, Blazes brand. I don't buy box tea, and they call me the extremist. Like, so you actually create your own? I was like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I have what I call a molcajete, but it's a mortar and pestle, but I literally hauled that thing through TSA years ago. Things weren't as crazy yet, but, I'll come into TSA with this volcanic thing. And that's where I make my blends. But it's so important also knowing what you're blending. Urban gardening, man, like that is a whole movement that is amazing. People that actually grow a lot of their own herbs, but even finding great local vendors. And I have to give her a shout out because she's one of the best in Broward and Dade, Lisa at Urban Tapestry, and she is on Instagram. She's all over the place. I will give you guys a connection to her. But she runs a shop out of Hollywood. She's at the Yellow Green Farmers Market, and all her
I
herbs are
love that
locally,
place.
yeah, locally sourced, organic, knowing what we're putting in our bodies. A lot of times my patients with the pelvic steams, the yoni steams, they'll buy a blend on Amazon, and I'm like, you don't even know where these herbs came from. Are there pesticides? There's dyes. I Someone was doing some research on it. Some of it was just potpourri they were selling on Amazon.
Wow.
So thinking about that, dyes, fragrances, and such skin that absorbs so much. Same thing as using stainless steel, not plastic bowls when we're using that. So a lot of what we teach at OVA is just things that we're not taught, that we don't know. But as consumers, how to be smarter about what we allow in our homes and into our children's, bodies, environment.
Yeah. When I share with people, or not even just me, when people hear, oh, so beware of the kinds of water you're drinking, or the plastic in your homes, or fragrance and the shampoos and different things, it can be overwhelming, and they're like, oh, well, we can't eat
100%.
anything or we can't use anything, and it's like, oh, it's just education. Not saying you have to change 10 or 15 things the first day, like, no, but we live in a time where there's so much information at our fingertips, so we have no excuse anymore to be in the dark.
I think you said the word. It's overwhelming. I think, and I'll say it. I think our generation, man, not because like we're in it, but it's the truth. We're at a crux. We're in a really tough place because there's our parents' generation. I'm the kid that grew up on Lunchables and McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
This is just what had to happen, Nickelodeon and like what is screen time, is what had to happen. And then we have our children when we're like, oh no, we're breaking these generational curses. I'm not taking it, their inner voice matters. But man, I have to say, like, go us. It's really hard because we're fixing all those traumas, or trying to do the best we can as we go. So yes, it is very overwhelming. And sometimes you're like, oh my God, I can't do anything. But one of the parts, and I don't mean to sound like this doomsday, person, but it's the realization, it's tough, that we're meant to buy products. We're in a consumer society. Businesses are going to do what is going to have the shortest cost, the shortest amount of effort to get the best revenue from it, and it's not always going to be geared toward your best interest. And I think that as a human living in this reality, it's almost a little shattering, because it's like, wait, so like everything's out to get me, and it's like, well,
kind of.
sorry. Keeping it real, so it's not to overwhelm anyone, but it's like I told you, we need to do better. And now we're not just talking about, there's a lot of people that coming into this, a lot of companies that are changing, that are having more green practices, a lot of physicians that say, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not for my patient's best interest. I'm going to do something different. Insurance doesn't like it. I'm out. That's me, So, and would maybe my mom's generation have done that? Heck no. She panics. She's like, you're insane. And I'm like, no, I'm doing better. Someone has to. We have to begin somewhere. And we all start, and I'm a doctor in Broward County doing the very best that I can. And the changes show. It shows. Earlier I told you, 87.4% of my patients conceive naturally.
Wow.
Changes are made. Benefits are reaped. But it takes a different approach. It takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes time. It takes education. A lot of stuff that a lot of people aren't willing to put in, patients included. We are not Amazon Prime. You want to boom thing, then sure, pop a fast-acting Tylenol, but I guarantee you in 6 hours we're back at square one. So it's that shift, that mindset shift. And maybe I'm the eternal optimist, but I think we're in the midst of it. And the more that we continue to do what we're doing in our respective fields, I think the tide is turning. How quick? I don't know. But it's turning.
Yeah, I firmly believe that we're in a awakening,
100%.
and where a lot of us are waking up. Some will say it happened during the pandemic. Some will say it happened about 5 years ago. Whatever your theory is, more and more people are waking up, and more people are standing up for ethics, for their morals, for their beliefs, and not just going with the status quo or the norm just because everybody else is doing it, or just because that's what pays the bills. So I love seeing that. I was
I have
watching
to see
a. I
it.
love it. I love it. I was watching a documentary on McDonald's,
Oh no, that's tough.
and I forgot the name of it. I'm sure that if you know the name of it, can you put it here in the chat? And in that documentary, it was actually very interesting. Um, and in that documentary, there was a scene where the two founders, right? They had their way, and they had a order, they had a structure in how they produced their food and their drinks, even the design of the kitchen and the rotation of the staff. Everything had an order and a structure. And then up came this business partner. And long story short,
The guy that
um,
bought them out.
he bought them out.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I saw it.
He bought them out. And he basically got McDonald's brand for nothing, right?
Yep.
And one scene I remember, he said, he didn't even say, he did, where he goes, all right, well, the shakes are no longer going to be, all natural and stuff. We're going to do the powders because that's cheaper and we can make much more money. And I'm like, look at that.
Who
You
cares?
have a decision. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go on a little tangent here.
The founder, what's the name of it? So maybe.
I don't remember the name of it, but I want to say it was a series. It wasn't even just about McDonald's because it had other things.
Maybe so.
I think so. I'll remember. Definitely don't remember right now, but I remember watching it. But, and the more that information's out there, that we read, that we become aware, here comes the part that I'll be a little controversial here, but like whatever, we're out here. It's as consumers. Now that I have this information, what do I do with it? The convenience of it. Mm-hmm. Yes, like supporting small local businesses. Businesses right here in Sunrise. He actually is a former student of mine. I was an educator for Miami-Dade Public Schools and then Broward Miramar High for about 5 years while I was studying medicine. And he just opened, and it's a drive-through vegan restaurant. And it's nice. And I'm going to send you the info. Well, he hasn't opened yet. He's about to open. But the traction, and he was confiding in me, and he's like, it's tough because like, it's an innovative thing. He's like, but man, sometimes I still look and like Wendy's still has a line wrapped around the building. And I'm like, man, we're aware, but are we making those choices? Are we supporting when it comes times for elections? Listen, I grew up in Hialeah. I had 305 girl through and through. And, I love it. Love going back to the city. And I love to see the changes that it's going through now. But then I moved to Miramar for several years and seeing the changes. You go to Parkland. You find different businesses, different establishments. If you want certain foods, you're going to have to go to Hialeah. You're going to have to go to West Park to find that. And you start to think, well, why? Why am I having to go to, why are there no dialysis centers in Parkland? Where are they at? Why are they over here? But then you start to realize, well, what are all the restaurants that are out here? I love Golden Crust, don't get me wrong. But why is there one in every corner in Miramar? I cannot find one up here. So thinking that, you start to realize, well, why are certain things allowed? Because officials allow that for the demographic that's there.
Yeah.
Are the people that are living in Miramar, Hialeah, West Park, are they informed as to what they're consuming, what they're allowing into the neighborhoods, what they're allowing their children to consume easily for 99 cents after school? No, because Bolé is out here, in Pembroke Gardens. Bolé is out right there next to Pincho Factory in the nicer affluent areas. And why is that allowed? Local elections. At the time that we allow these things, city planning, are we at these town hall meetings? Are we talking? Are we informing? Are we speaking up? Even in those underserved areas. And the truth is that the pressure is not always there. So as people that come from there, myself included, I'm very passionate about it, because we have to be, because that's where kids are growing up, that's where I grew up, and I know that nobody cared, so it goes very deep into our community involvement. Reasons why I love doing this, what you're doing, because again, it's not just at the level of medicine. Like I said, it's our community. It's what we're doing. Dr. Vanessa Walker, she's a chiropractor out of Miramar, with Walker Chiropractic. She's one of those people that also, walks like the line about it. She's out there, she's councilwoman, she's doing all these different things. And it's so important to have more and more in our field physicians that are involved like that, making that change, a sustainable change. I think that that's ultimately what continues to turn that tide, to make that impact. We just got to show up. We have to show up. If not, it's like we get tired over here.
Yeah. I look back to my family and to say my grandparents and my great grandparents, and they were deemed as healthy. And my grandparents, especially my grandmother, had the remedies, the natural remedies. If you're sick, then you go see grandma, and she got the garlic tea, and all these home remedies, right? However, one thing I also noticed about my grandparents and those in their generation is, though they were big on home remedies, many of them still took lots of prescription drugs. And it makes me think like, how can I, as a young father, how can I change that? What can I do in this current age so that 20 years from now, even 10 years from now, in some cases in their 40s right now, and they're on 3 different types of medication, 4 different types of medication, 5, 6, and I'm not talking about taking your
it's a whole cocktail.
D3 and your vitamins,
No, it's
but
a
I
cocktail.
Yeah. And if you go to Walgreens or to the pharmacy and there's an issue with the insurance that day or that week, freaking out because the doctor told you got to take all of these forever and there is no way out.
I'm going to tell you 2 things. Number 1, man. Reasons why I deviated to Chinese medicine over being an MD. As I looked at the curriculum, I saw that, there's your diagnosis and then your scope of practice, meaning how do I treat this diagnosis? And I realized that it was just medications, drugs that were paid for by the companies that funded a lot of these very same programs. The companies that funded the printing companies of the textbooks that I'd be learning medicine and how to treat it with. The very same companies that were there going to pay exorbitant amounts and bonuses for me to prescribe such medications. And I just felt like, man, I started high school at 17. I graduated high school at 17. I started college. I put in so many years. I really felt like I wanted to learn medicine. I did not want to learn how to, I'll be really careful with my wording, promote a product for someone's company. I want to use it as an aid, but that's not going to cure an issue. And I realized that the basis of what I was going to dedicate myself to was sponsored by very big companies. And that just didn't feel like what I wanted to base myself on. Considering that, pharmacology, modern medicine, we're not talking about even more than 250 years. And we're looking at Chinese medicine, Aztec medicine, Mayan medicine, herbal medicine that has well over, and Chinese medicine, 3,400 years of recorded history. So the more I started to look into that, I said, I want to find a difference. And when we talk about patients like that, like my grandparents, you also have to remember historical context. Okay. When your grandmother gave birth, they probably gave birth in twilight sleep, gases, knocked out, strapped to beds. It was a whole nother thing. You had a child recently. I'm sure you guys went through the options of the water birth, of the home birth, of the birthing center. The change that has happened in medicine, the information, the wokeness, so to speak, from your grandmother giving birth to your wife giving birth is astounding. Astounding. Because we've become informed. We've realized that, man, these pills aren't making me better. They're just keeping me here.
Yeah.
But what can make you better? And I think that the more we realize that, I don't like to say, well, it is what it is, but in my grandmother's case, is there going to be some miracle right now that's going to take her off the 12 types of medications that she's on? No. You know, my grandmother, I don't want to say was a victim, but our grandparents, our parents were brought up in a system where it was, well, you don't question, you just go take because this is a new medicine and it's better than anything. In my Mexican case, anything you Indians can conjure up with some leaves, okay? So in a way, decolonizing medicine. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's really tough because I'm not going to tell you, oh no, metformin or, you know, medicine for diabetics or that birth control even at some points is not going to be helpful. No, it is. There's a time and place for medicine for everything. But what I mentioned, reclaiming some of that power and realizing that as our generation, when your daughter's period doesn't come, are you going to run and take her to the doctor and go, oh, just put her on birth control? Well, no, because you're going to know better. You're going to say, no, wait, y'all did that to my wife. She took birth control for years and nothing ever happened. No, I'm going to do something different.
Yeah.
We're going to do blood. We're going to look into it. And that is the passion of our children's stories being different than ours. I wouldn't get periods and nothing would happen. 6-9 months would go by. And my mom, who was a surgeon, didn't think it was weird. She just took me to the OB and was like, well, just get on birth control and then your period will just come regularly. And that's a surgeon, very informed, educated woman. But it's what we're doing now. And it took me in college. I got tired of feeling bad. I got tired of, I don't want to take birth control. Yeah. And I kid you not, I have 12-year-old girls on birth control right now. I have patients who have taken birth control the longest 17 years, uninterrupted. I still haven't been able to help her conceive naturally. She's been off birth control for about 2 years. And it's shocking and it's so scary. And in hindsight, a lot of times she's like, I didn't think it was bad because we're not educated. Because it's just, oh, here's a script. And I say, yes, as patients, we have to advocate for ourselves. As a physician, my colleagues can do better. Who keeps refilling that prescription for 17 years with no question, no follow up of every so often? Let's talk about your increased risk of stroke. No one. Crickets. Why? Because like you said, you got to be on this pill. Every month you're going to take it and you're just going to go pay your low copay and no questions asked.
Yeah.
And when we find that disruption in that, for our grandparents, sure, right now, it's life-saving at this point. But for you, for me, for our spouses, for our kids, we can make a difference, a big difference. Yeah. But again, we got to show up. We got to be willing to do the research, be open enough to absorb the information, be humble enough to accept that we might not know it all, and then be proactive enough to enforce those changes and try to make those decisions for our families that are going to be the best for them. And me as a parent with a toddler, I can tell you, sometimes I know that the best decision is going to be not to stop at McDonald's. I know the best decision is probably going to be to come home and man, I'm tired, but find a rotation between me and my spouse. Make that. Bring back Sunday dinners.
Bring back Sunday dinners.
Listen. Hey. I'm not going to tell you every day because I'm a working woman. I get it, but Sunday dinner. And it's those little things. What we mentioned. Don't get overwhelmed. Bring back Sunday dinners. Start easy. Yeah. But we got to bring that back.
Yeah.
It's not just about the food on the table. It's what's happening with the people there. And that is something that we have to change. Changing it. We're doing good.
Yes. Yes. Big shout to everybody who is making a change,
Yes.
who is questioning, not just going with the flow or following everybody else, but being a leader, questioning, why do we do this? What exactly? I'm the type of person, even vitamins, I go to wherever it is. It may be Publix or Target or whatever. And when I'm buying vitamins, I pick it up and I'm reading what's in this. Not just because it says uh, the best blah, blah, blah for men. No, I don't care about the sales pitch.
Yep.
What is in this? What is in this?
Your
So,
products and even there's resources. For example, online, you can look up the Dirty Dozen. Literally the products that are the most harmful, products that you can easily swap. And I'll tell you, my products that are so much healthier for me, I still find them on Amazon. I still find them at Walmart. It's just knowing the difference.
yeah.
Sometimes you just don't know. You know what I mean? So again, that's a lot of what we do at OVA. It's functional medicine. It's optimizing your lifestyle, changing your cookware, changing your shampoo, your toothpaste, your deodorant, things that we just don't really think. But that again, once you start to understand and learn how, products, consumerism works, you start to understand that, okay, sure, maybe that cheapest Dollar Tree option isn't the best.
Yeah.
It's
It's
tough.
$1 for a reason.
So a lot of that. And again, and I know you've heard that can go into so many different things, the stuff that we buy, why we buy it, minimalism, recycling, reusing, fast fashion, so many things that, so you got to put in work. Quick, fast solutions, it doesn't work, man. Those are band-aids,
Yeah.
So
Band-aids can be more harmful.
absolutely.
So now I want to transition into maybe a lighter note. Not that this was heavy. This was necessary. This was
Told
necessary.
you it was gonna be heavy. I was like, oh no. Here we go.
No, this was necessary. But now I want to get into in your experience. Is there a testimony? Is there a certain client? Obviously, you don't have to say their name or whatever.
Yeah.
But is there a story that you would like to share of maybe a couple that was going through the impossible? Anything?
I'm gonna tell you about my first baby. I have so many babies. It's wild, and they always come in waves. So sometimes in 1 month I have like 7, 10 patients, like giving birth the same week. So it's crazy. It's like football season, but like baby season for me. But my very first baby, very first one, his name, well, no last name, but I remember they named him Isaac, the first baby in the Bible, firstborn. And I was like, wow, how symbolic. But funny enough, I met his mom. I was an intern still. I was still studying in my graduate program. And my professors always gave me fertility patients. Like it just clicked for me, always. It's just always been that. And she came to me because she had been trying for, at this point, 9 years. And I was like, what? 9 years? That is insane. She had done 7 rounds of IVF, which ethically speaking, I wouldn't recommend a woman to do more than 4 because of what it can do to your body. So this woman, like, she's determined. Okay. Mm-hmm. She was coming now because they were in the process of a divorce. Fertility tore them apart. Infertility tore them apart. The debt that they accrued and never had a baby, he couldn't. He walked away. She was devastated. And she was here to kind of work the hormones out of her body and also work on the stress from divorce. So, felt her, worked with her. I see my patients once a week, every week. And on the 3rd week that I saw her, she just seemed a little off. And I always tell my patients, I want you to take a pregnancy test. You have no idea how many times I hear, oh no, I'm not pregnant, girl. So I tell her I need to test. And she don't believe me. And she goes to the bathroom. Sure enough, she starts screaming in the bathroom. Because for the first time in her life, she's pregnant. And I'm just like spiraling because I'm an intern. So I'm like spiraling in a corner of the bathroom, like, oh my God, how did I do this? Let me look at my notes, you know? And I look at her, I'm like, but how? And she's like, well, you know, we're in the process of a divorce, but. So I'm like, oh, but, okay. Turns out, after 9 years, IVF, stress, everything, this woman had a hormone imbalance. She was just given drugs and forced her body to perform.
Yeah.
But in all those 9 years and all those procedures, it still hadn't occurred to anyone, which is wild to me, to step back, calm the nervous system down, dissuade that fight or flight, you know, response, and improve circulation, allow her to menstruate, to pass, to find the imbalance and rectify it. And in 3 weeks, after 9 years, in 3 weeks,
wow,
they were pregnant. The next week that she came, this giant towering man literally walked up on his knees, just kissing my hands. And he was like, you changed my life. And I was like, this is my specialty. Forget all of y'all. All these patients are mine. I don't care about no back pain. Forget your insomnia. This is me. And, you know, Isaac is 9 years old this year. And I cannot believe that there's a 9-year-old out there. This is my firstborn. But I remember that to me, and I promise, you know, not necessarily a religious, but a spiritual woman. And I knew that that was it, you know. That was to me that demonstration that if you nurture the body, if you meet it halfway and nurture it, you will be blown away by what the human body can accomplish. But you need to come at it correct. And that's what a lot of people miss on. And that to me, my first baby, and I was like, after that, like forget it. Like this, how do you top that? You know? And it happens all the time. Am I going to tell you that I get everybody pregnant in 3 weeks? Absolutely not. You know, even members of my staff, my own partner, it took me 2.5 years to help her conceive. Everybody's different. Yeah. Nobody's going to be the same. Even for people that have gotten pregnant easily once, next time, it might take a little longer. But that to me is something that I hold on to steadfast, because while y'all see my cute Instagram feed, there's babies, there's bumps, it's pink, we're cute. But there is the underbelly, what y'all don't see. The loss, the ugly crying, the loss, the grief, the loss, you know, the coming back from that. And not just for a woman, but for husbands, for partners. Don't think that y'all are just silent partners here. Like, oh no. Right. So that too, you know, so I hold on to that very steadfast to my firstborn, to Isaac, because it is a promise. It is a promise that you have to hold on to. Why faith is so important. And to me, that missing link, you know, there's science, there's medicine, there's everything we do. And then there's that, you know, that, and that's what we got to show up for every single time. Because no, not everyone's Isaac, but the human body's capable. The spirit, the mind, the brain, your cells, your regeneration, your code. We are capable of things far beyond our wildest dreams. And that's what I do. Optimize people. There's no magic. There's nothing magic with my needles. My herbs aren't like, you know, potions. Nope. We're just out here understanding the body, breaking it down. And sometimes that takes a month. Woohoo. And sometimes that takes 2 years. Whatever it takes, that's my job to figure out. And that's why I'm good at what I do. I am relentless. I will figure it out.
Man, you are impacting lives,
We're
Carolina.
trying to.
You definitely are. We don't, as you mentioned, our bodies are powerful. And what we do in modern society, we overload it and we stress it and we push it like it's a machine and we force it and then we get mad when we don't get the results that we want. And it's like,
And then we nip it and we tuck it until it fits in the box. What are we doing? Let's be
we just
gentle. Let's be
allow our
sweet.
bodies to, yeah.
Let's breathe. Let's start by breathing. Can we like take a deep breath? But seriously, like it's those things. And that's why I said, I think our generation is just at that crux
Yeah.
of taking on and owning things that just were not taught to us. But we desperately want our kids to have because that's the right thing to do. So I'm like, doing a good job.
Yes.
Doing a good job.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now we've reached a portion of the show. Do you know what time it is?
I don't know what time it is.
Out there in TV land. Do you know what time it is? Color time. Color time. All right. So this is color time. What is color time? You may be wondering if you're new to the show. Color time is the portion of our show where I, the host, will yell out a random color, right?
Oh,
and for each color that I say, you, my featured guest, will say whatever comes to mind. Now, this can be spiritual, it can be logical, it can be vague, it can be super detailed, it can be funny. There is no right or wrong answer. It's whatever comes to your mind.
All right, I'm ready.
You ready?
Like this.
All right. Here we go. Color number one. The color that I'm wearing, red.
Hearts. That's generic. Hearts. Okay. But in my mind, I was picturing like bleeding anatomical hearts, not like, yeah, anatomical hearts.
Okay. Color number two, gold.
I just pyramids, just like Luxor, just yes, sun reflection, yes.
I can dig that. I can dig that. Next color. I know the color. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay. Olive green.
Fidel Castro. I'm Cuban. I'm sorry.
Ooh. Did you say Castro?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
Cuban.
Fidel Castro. What you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, my grandfather, he ingrained me. Blame him. I'm like, oh, Castro. If funny enough, he has a shirt, right?
That's what made me think. I was like,
Girl. I need to rethink this branding now.
all right. There it is. Next, next color. Let's go with pearl white.
Pearl white. my mother of pearl glasses. They're my grandma's.
Okay.
That's where I went. So like old lady vibes.
We got three more colors.
Let's see.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
This is a color that most people feel is somewhat negative. Very rare do I hear positive words or answers with this color, but you never know. No pressure. You say whatever you feel. Here we go. Next color is gray.
I love gray. It's like white noise. It's neutral. It rests the eyes. It's not scary. And I'm not scary. It's not black. It's not that encompassing. Just enough light. It soothes me. I like it.
I like that answer. Usually I get blah, I get gloomy, I get thunderstorms.
It's comforting. And like it cleanses the palate. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and we gotta talk about that. Chinese medicine actually correlates colors to organ systems. So my brain works that way a little bit too.
Let's get into shades of gray.
Actually, the lungs. Yeah, the lungs are gray.
Great Earl tea.
I love that. Yes. Okay.
I see you guys in the chat. All right. 2 more colors. Here we go. Let's go with sky blue.
Tulum.
Mexico?
Yeah. Specifically Tulum, though. Tulum. It just, the way the lagoons are set up, you can't tell where the sky ends and the water goes. So it's just like a mirror. Tulum. Much needed.
Makes me want to go.
Please don't miss it. You need to see it.
Go.
Yes. Comer unos tacos by the sea.
Oh. They have a vegan festival in Tulum. I don't know since the pandemic if they still have it.
Probably.
But they used to have a vegan festival in Tulum. So
yes, it's fantastic.
I might need to look
that
into
sounds
it.
like a good opportunity to go.
Yeah. I've been attracted to lots of water. Water is spiritual. I feel very emotional.
Water is so powerful. Water can erode rock. Water can literally carve through a mountain, but just soft enough and malleable enough to just float the most delicate of bodies. It's just something about water, the duality of it, man. It's good. Reasons why I don't leave Florida. You can't do it. It's dry up.
You're about to have this podcast go left and we start talking about meditation and color and elements and stuff.
Bring me back.
All right. I think we got one more color or
one
two.
More.
One more. All right.
Hit me with 2. I got it. This is fun.
Here we go. Rust.
Texas. Amarillo. The clay dirt. I went to school in the South, and all I remember is just everything's just like coated in a thin layer of rust-colored clay. Very earthy, cold. Yeah, I miss that.
She has a way of making even the most boring colors so fascinating.
You're there, right? You see it.
Look at Rust. Avenue Pre.
You're riding the horse, see a little tumbleweed. You're seeing that sun come up. You smell the clay. We're there.
I've never ridden a horse or seen tumbleweed.
I hadn't either. My roommate had a horse, and this girl would just wake up like at 4 a.m. because I was awake studying genetics or some crazy metabolic pathway. She'd be like, "You want to go ride Hollywood?" That was her horse. Hollywood Done It, was his name. And this girl, they have really weird names. I love horses. Apparently the horse world is wild. And she'd take me out there to this barn out in Catoosa, Oklahoma.
Were you guys sober at 4 a.m.?
No.
Okay.
I've been an herbalist for a while, so it's it's college. And yeah, we go out there, ride Hollywood off into the little sunset down to the creek. And I'm from Hialeah, but I was just like living my best Western life, a little boots on, doing the most. it was wild. I highly recommend it. I didn't understand the whole thing with horses, but like just that strength, that they're so gentle. There's something to be said about being in the presence of animals like that. It's nice. It's very therapeutic. Try it.
I think for this next chapter, this next season of my life, now that I'm 40 and all, I think I'm going to shift into wearing brass belt buckles and cowboy boots.
Brass knuckles? Wait.
No, brass belt. Tongue twister.
Hold on, because I'm like, yo.
No, brass belt buckles. Not brass knuckles. That was in my 20s. That was a former season.
Okay.
Belt buckles and cowboy boots. What do you guys think in the chat? You think Blaze and cowboy boots?
Do it. Own it. Own it.
Imagine me teaching a gym class in cowboy boots. No?
Go for it. Own it.
I can pull it off. I'm getting no.
No.
Don't do it.
I say own it, man. Live once. Do it.
Why not? Why not? Final color. Here we go.
All right.
Y'all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun. Final color is one of the most powerful colors. One of my favorite colors. Is this thing on?
Suspense is killing me.
Good. Final color is purple.
My daughter's name is Violet. Come on.
Hey.
Come on. Come on.
Hey.
Purple, my favorite color. It's exquisite. It's perfection. My daughter, Violet. But reasons why, just ultraviolet light. There's something about, they have the spectrum, different, tangent, different frequencies, different lights. But violet light, ultraviolet light, just what it allows, the duality of what it allows to me is just, whole little physics wormhole, but violet, daughter, hey baby.
Here we go.
Yes, but that is just such a, I don't know, it's like a warm color, like not warm, but just like a hug. Oh no!
I'm back.
Hey. Yes. And it also makes you think of the planetarium, but that old one down in Miami, the one they took down, not the new Frost one, the old school one.
The one I used to go on field trips to.
Yes, that one,
Back in the 90s.
The 90s. What a time.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, yeah, that planetarium. You know how it's like a little cold and you were there, field trip with your friends, gonna have a little lunch and the little picnic tables outside. That's purple for me.
Like the cold corned beef sandwiches that my mom used to pack.
Yeah, that little juice you got in the bag. You gotta bite it, rip it open.
With the soft brown apple.
Yeah. That's purple for me.
And the red Hawaiian punch flavor was red.
That's the best.
Okay.
Your whole tongue, your teeth, everything was red, so you got picked up.
And then you realize in your 30s that it had chemicals and dyes
But it was so good, man.
You're like, no wonder I'm a little off.
Yeah, my sister came over the other day and we had a little sister night and we ended up having a little bit of wine. Friendly sister wine amounts. She doesn't drink at all. And funny enough, she all she had in the car ended up being her son's lunchbox, and she had that little Hawaiian punch. We ended up eating like Oreos and Hawaiian punch, just buzzed on drunk, going, "Oh, like mom life, like what are we doing?" Yeah. Funny enough, you mentioned that. It just took me right back to that. Oh
my
man,
son can't leave his Oreos around me.
Yeah, no.
Like I eat super healthy, but when I see golden Oreos,
game over. I know.
And the mom is like, "Oh, you ate all your Oreos."
Like, why would you do that? No.
He did.
I get
Not
it.
me. He did.
I get
Hmm.
it. I get it.
I just told it myself. Any case. So now I want to go into reality. This is all reality, but um, with all the ups, there are downs. Right. So, is there any story you would like to share that just really heartfelt, has just really touched you? Story of a single person or of a family or anything that you've experienced in this journey?
Man. Oh, this one really sucks. Um, so
So get your tissues out, yeah.
ugh, yeah, especially now that I'm a mom. Man. So reasons why I'm so passionate about what I do. I was a junior associate at the Coral Gables Wellness Center right out of school. And the doctor I was working with, she'd been in practice for like 15, 20 years at the time. So I was just absorbing, like a sponge, everything around her. And she had this patient that she'd known for years. And she was from China. And in China, she purposely left China because she was a very small town. It was just, rice fields. She didn't see a future. Her parents sent her here to study. And when she got here, she really decided she wanted to be a mom. And she was going to stop at nothing. Very wealthy woman. Like when she got here, total opposite of how she grew up. And she decided she didn't want all that wealth alone. She had no family here, so she wanted a child. And she did everything under the moon. And of course, the ethics of certain physicians. If you pay enough, in her experience, if you pay enough, you get your way. It doesn't matter, And when she finally realized that she couldn't get pregnant, she decided to adopt a little girl. And that was a really nice little happy outcome. Except that about when the girl was 4 years old, she ended up getting a very aggressive form of cancer, uterine cancer. And it was 100% completely related to the amount of IVF rounds and meds and hormones that she took. 100%. The growth was unbelievable, week after week. It was just like masses. Like she looked like she was pregnant, except it was just masses. There's nothing we could do to stop it. And she went outside of the country, had all these surgeries, had everything emptied out, and somehow survived, came back. And at that point, the doctor that I worked with, by now she'd been in practice for several years, she retired. And it was up to me. And I remember I saw her name on the caller ID and I panicked because I was like, why is she calling again? And at this point, her daughter's 9 years old. And I was the main physician. And she said, the cancer's back. The cancer's back. I need to fix this because my daughter is 9 years old and this can't happen. I have nothing else left to cut. And for about a year and a half, I did everything that I could possibly think of. My God. Like I'm talking about like middle of the night Skype calls to learning Portuguese to speak with these Portuguese doctors that are doing research with herbs in real so that I could maybe find something to do. And no matter what we did, she passed. She passed. And the tragedy of it, she had a 9-year-old daughter who had no family, had no one, who she adopted, who went back into foster care. And it was devastating because there was nothing that anyone could do. Her whole family was in China. She refused to send her to China. And I know that the little girl got adopted again, but that case stayed with me because it was her, but it's every woman that walks into my practice. Because as women, and I'm going to be very transparent with you in a minute, as women, when we want to be mothers, because it's not for everybody, and not everybody has to be a mother, and that's perfectly fine. But when we want to be mothers, there is very few things women will not do to accomplish that, even if that means your own life. Even if that means, yes, but like you're going to grow a sixth arm. Okay. And it pains me to see sometimes in medicine the neglect, the lack of ethics, what physicians will do for another cycle, for another $41,000 cycle. Not thinking what's going to happen. Who's going to hold that woman's hand in 4 years when you know she's going to rot from the inside out and she's going to leave a family of children? Who knows? Because it's not going to be your problem because you don't give a damn. She's gone. You did whatever the hell you wanted. You got your money. She's pregnant. Not your problem. And I will never forget that woman's life and her story and her daughter and the impotence and inability to do absolutely anything. And just in those last days knowing, and she told me, this is horrible. She said, and it's worth it because it got me her. But I wish I'd just known better. And that's why, like, even at a party, I'm not going to shut up. I hear someone's doing IVF. I'm like, talk to me. How many cycles have you done? Let's talk about your uterine health. I'm that girl. I'm going to continue to be that girl because I had to be there for that woman. And having been there in that room, yeah, no. I have no interest in doing that with anybody else again. So it's not always cute.
Yeah.
But it's true. And that's just her, a great friend of mine from college. She lived across my dorm, best of times, Oklahoma. And she was an only child. Her mom was a single mom, very successful woman. And right after college, her mom was always sick. And I remember she'd always be sick and always have these crazy periods and like pass out. But like, whatever, that just runs in their family. It's normal, And finally, when my friend graduated, went back home, she got really onto her mom about it, went to the doctor, and within 2 months, her mom was dead. She was a Black woman, a very strong Black woman. And she showed up. She complained about pain. She asked for help. She did the most that she could. Doctor after doctor, they saw her. They thought she was being extra. They thought maybe she wanted some pain meds. She did not. They thought she was just, I don't know, being an angry Black woman, whatever you want to call it in healthcare. Whatever the reason why Black women have 4 times a higher mortality rate than white women at birth, whatever the reason is. But they ignored, for over 4 years of documented medical history, they ignored a tumor the size of a grapefruit that was growing behind her uterus. By the time that they finally found it, because her daughter she was so sick and weak that her daughter had to show up and be, I don't want to use the, illicit word, but she had to be that person and get things done. And yeah, within 2 months, her mom was dead because no one bothered to do it because it just gets passed along. So reasons why you got to advocate for your own health. You got to do the best. If you feel that you're not being prioritized, get up and leave. Choose somewhere else to go. We're all doctors. We get paid for what we do. Choose somebody else. It's not like there's like one or two. There's always someone that can do better. But you can't wait till that happens, especially when we know, what you're predisposed to. My patients, every time they come in, yes, do I ask questions based on their ethnicity and racial background? Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? It should be versed. More than 50% of my patients are African American. Shouldn't I know what the risk factors are for African American women? Why shouldn't I spend extra time figuring it out when that's half of my demographic? So there's a lot of things in healthcare that are sad and that need help and attention. So, I think we're dark again. We're back at the dark place, man. But we have to. Someone's gonna talk about it.
We have to. No, we have to. my prayer is that tonight that someone would hear these stories, and that would be the wake up call. That would be the nudge for at least one person on here
You ask, what can
to
we do differently
take their
to
health
not be our
serious.
parents? This is what we do differently. Learn from that and just do better. That's what we
Yeah,
do differently.
yeah,
Yeah. Deep
yeah.
breaths. Listen, everybody has a mom, an aunt, a grandma. Everybody has a story like that. Everybody. We shouldn't. We should have a lot less of those. We should have a lot less of those, man. Women are precious. Let's take care of
Mhm,
them. All
mhm.
ages, all of them.
Yeah. Since this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I want to give a
Yes.
shout out to my mom
Yes.
Dukes, who is a
You
breast
did
cancer
that.
survivor. Hey, it was hell. It was very tough,
That's
very
amazing.
challenging time. But she survived, and I remember, of course, because I'm so intrigued and so focused on food and what we eat. Shout out to her doctor who told her, listen,
It's a lot. It's a
you got to
lot.
stop
It's
all the alcohol, all the hard liquor, and start juicing fruits and veggies.
juicing.
Let's go.
Yep. Stress management, moving your body. It's essential. It's essential. And listen, I have a practice built around working with people who don't care for their bodies. And I say, if you're healthy, if you're young, man, you're ahead of the game. Like, you know how blessed you are. Walk in blessing and walk in abundance because you're already winning. Preserve it. Be aware. Express your gratitude literally to your body. Like, express your gratitude. Tell yourself, estoy linda, estoy lindo. Look how cute. Like, yes, body. Thank you, legs. Do that because our cells are living. Our cells thrive off of vibrations. That's why you get vibes. That's why people are like, oh no. Even a house. Listen, when I was buying my house, I'd walk in and if it just didn't feel right, I was out. I don't know. Bye. So imagine what happens when we talk sweet talk yourself, pillow talk yourself. You're that person. Yes.
Hey.
Talk to your body, be grateful because we need that. There's so much negativity and overwhelm and stress coming from so many directions all the time, and you don't even realize it, but it's out there all the
Mhm.
time. We need a counter. We need to shift that, balance. So if you're not getting that, create that from within. Be sweet to the body. Talk to it. Like, yes, kidneys. Okay, doing that today. It's necessary. Be sweet to
Mhm.
yourself. Someone has to be.
Yeah. Shout out to my liver for helping filter out all the toxins over these
Shout
decades.
out to the ghost of my gallbladder. They took my gallbladder out, emergency surgery back in July. And
Uh-huh.
listen, the ghost of my gallbladder has checked me in ways that I needed to be checked. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. I wasn't walking the walk, you know? And sometimes your body will give you warnings. It'll tell you we need to pay attention, and then it's going to stop. And it's going to do what it needs to do, and you're not necessarily going to like it. And I'm always very transparent with my patients, I'm like, look at me, out for the count. So doing better. 2022, we're gonna, in memory of my gallbladder. That was scary. That was scary. Even doctors have health crisis. So we're all out here, but doing better.
We're all out here. You know the best way for you to prepare for 2022?
Hmm.
Get ready in 2021. Don't wait for 2022.
Listen, this year has been one for the books. Has been one for the books. A lot of growth, a lot of change, and always for the positive. Always for the positive. Always for the good things to come. So we're excited about that.
Man, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
If people just highlight really quick what you do, if people would like to get in contact with you in your office.
Absolutely. So, again, I am a doctor of Oriental medicine. I specialize in reproductive acupuncture. So, women's health, everything from first period to menopause. Not just people that want to get pregnant. So that's just a season in life. It's more than that. We do acupuncture, herbal medicine, nutrition, mental health therapy, functional medicine. I'm implantation. Obviously, depending on where my patients are, a lot of people come from down south, from Dade, Palm Beaches. But absolutely, follow me on Instagram at Ova Health. That is always how you guys are going to get instant access. Someone is always available. If not myself, a member of my staff. DM us, follow us. Our website, myovahealth.com. You guys can go on there, book appointments, give us a call, text us. The whole point of my office is to cater to you guys, to help you transition. Like I said, there's a lot of overwhelm. My job is to come in and make it easy. Make it easy. So let me and my staff help you. Let me help you.
Oops, I put the wrong website.
Hey.
My Overhealth.
Myovahealth.com.
Ignore the first website. I don't know where that goes. But.
Who knows? Yeah, but definitely on Instagram at Ova Health. I'm always going live, doing collaborations, giveaways, all these different things. You can book appointments right from Instagram. So we're out here. We're out here doing all of this. And again, I can't thank you enough for all the effort, the energy, the light that you put into the work that you do, and that truly, truly radiates. And it is felt, and it is so necessary, so necessary. Thank you for doing what you're doing, for reaching out.
Thank you. We are called, and not everybody will answer the call. So for so many people that are ignoring that call, I said, I got to step up.
Yep. You
I
have
got
to.
to step up. It's not an easy journey. Truth be told, even as a podcast host, my girlfriend will tell you that it's stressful. And there are times where it's like, man, screw this podcast thing, screw this training stuff. But every time that I'm in that low frequency, I am reminded that I'm on the right path. I'm reminded why I'm here. And so I embrace it all.
Absolutely. You're shining a light on places where it needs to be seen, and a lot of people don't know. I get people that tell me, I found you because of this random Google review at 3 a.m. I was like having an anxiety attack, and I just like Google, and I found you, and I'm here. And then fast forward like 6 months later, they're pregnant, and like boom. And sometimes I'm like, man, I forgot these Google reviews, all this like SEO search words, like this is so stupid. And then I forget that like all it takes is that one person to find that on her couch at 3 a.m. And little do I know what that little tiny seed is going to flourish into. And that's why we're out here doing what we do, So definitely being a modern doctor was very different from what my grandma, my mom did. I'm like, you don't even know the stuff I got. Man, I gotta go find some filters and like little gifs. I gotta go to a podcast. I gotta go live, and this like y'all don't even understand. Like step aside, change your lives, move.
Yes.
Yes, so many hats, but it has to be done. It has to be done. So thank you for that.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Zakes. For those that are listening and who will be listening, note that tomorrow, well, right now you're watching the video live on YouTube. Tomorrow, the audio will be available on all major streaming platforms. So like your Spotify, your Google Podcasts, your Apple Podcasts, so on and so forth. So if you're not really a fan of looking at my rectangular face or the beautiful Dr. Zakes, and you have it just here, that's cool. Hop
We're
on
there for that
Spotify
too.
tomorrow and ride out and get some gems, man. Get some education, get some inspiration.
Yes.
This is why we are here. This whole month of October, the theme is doctor. So stay tuned for every episode this month, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I will showcase a doctor who is walking in their purpose, who is impacting lives. And that's my main focus here. So thank you all for supporting the Blaze the Lion podcast. Before we go, if you're looking at that computer screen or that tablet or that iPad or that phone or whatever device you have, iPhone, or even if you have a Android, like people still buy Androids. But in any case,
The shade.
whatever you use, do me a favor, and on this episode right here, episode 42, like it, because it was a fantastic episode.
It was.
Then, if you realize that you are not subscribed to the Blaze the Lion podcast, subscribe. Yes, yes, yes. And then thirdly, as I said earlier, tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this video. If this video touched you, or if you were thinking about that friend or that coworker or that family member who might be struggling in some of these areas, they may need this right here, might just change their life. You never know.
Tell me. I got
And
you.
I don't even need the credit. You can give all the credit to Dr. Zakes.
Certified lover girl. Let me help you.
Oh, look at that. See? That Drake album.
Broward County babies. They're all mine.
You heard it first. No, Androids, no. Androids are not it.
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
No,
Androids
we can't.
are.
Don't bring that to the office because I'm going to shame you a little bit.
Yeah, see? If you show up to the office with the Android, you might just get an extra tax. So
may or may not happen. Come find out.
I truly appreciate everybody here who has tuned in to the Blaze the Lion podcast and to this movement. And again, I am one man with a vision, but it's teamwork. It's a village. It takes all of you to perpetuate this passion of mine. So I thoroughly appreciate all of you. Until next time, this was the Blaze the Lion podcast. Peace and love.
Thank you.